Hi, children. Let us look at the world, our continents. Now, there are many interesting things about the world. Now, when we talk about the continents, each and every continent end with the same letter that begin with Asia. A ends with, begins with A, ends with. So the interesting thing is the name of all the continents end with the same letter which begins with. Now, as the oldest human fossils such as skeletons and skulls have been discovered in Africa, the continent is also called the cradle of humankind. That is, Africa is called the cradle of humankind. What about Europe? Europe is considered to be the wealthiest and the richest continent. So, three interesting facts they gave us. All continents' name begins and ends with the same letter. Africa is supposed to be known as the cradle of humankind because they are finding fossils and skeletons and skulls over there. Europe is supposed to be the wealthiest and the richest continent. So we are today talking about the world. We are looking at the world. Okay? There are 7 continents and 5 oceans in the world. So, there are 7 continents. And 5 oceans. The 7 continents and 5 oceans in the world. Let's look at it each individually. Now we're going to talk about continents, all right? We're going to look at the continents. We said there are 7 continents. We'll take the first one, that is Asia. It begins with A and ends with A. Asia. It is the largest continent on Earth, covering more than 9% of the Earth's surface. So, Asia is supposed to be the largest continent, and it covers 9% of the Earth's surface. It is also the most populated continent on Earth. So, largest, most populated. Largest, most populated continent on Earth. It's home of an estimated population of 4.3 million people. So what population does it hold? 4.3 million. Billion. 4.3 billion people. Right? Then, this large population makes it an important part of the world economy. The highest mountain of the world, Mount Everest, is also in this continent. So it also has the highest mountain. The highest mountain. Which is the highest mountain? Mount Everest. That's about Asia. Second, we look at Africa. First, we looked at Asia. Next, now we are looking at Africa. Africa is the second largest continent. This is the largest, and Africa, second largest. It's the second largest continent. It is also the second largest continent in the world terms of population. So when it concerns population, second highest population. All right? So got the second largest continent and population, second highest. Africa is commonly referred as black continent. We also call this as black continent. Black continent. Next, this large landmass comprised of 54 countries and is the home of 1 billion people. It has 1 billion people. 1 billion people. All right? Next, Africa is also considered to be the birthplace of mankind. That's what we told earlier. Cradle of humankind. Birthplace of mankind. Birthplace of mankind. It contained the world's largest, longest river, Nile. It's also the world's largest desert. So, this Africa has the longest river and the largest desert. It has the longest river, that is River Nile. And it has the largest desert. Largest desert. Largest desert, that is Sahara, the Sahara Desert. Right? The Sahara. Okay, next we are looking at is third continent is Antarctica. Antarctica. We are looking at the third continent, that is Antarctica. What about Antarctica? Let's look at it in detail. Antarctica is the southernmost continent of all. So where is Antarctica? It's the southernmost continent. Southernmost. It's the southernmost continent. What else? Antarctica is the least populated. Least populated. Populated. It is also the home of very few plant animal species. So it has few plants, animal and animal species. Antarctica is also the coldest landmass on Earth. It's the coldest landmass, and it has permanent glaciers. It has permanent permanent glaciers. 98% of the continent is covered by ice. Antarctica, 98% of the continent is covered with ice. It is also the windiest continent. Windiest continent. Let us look at Australia. Number 4, Australia. Fourth continent, the continent of Australia. The continent of Australia is a single country continent. Australia is single country, single country continent. It is the sixth largest country. It is the sixth largest. Sixth largest continent. And it is the smallest of all the 7 continents. The smallest of the 7 continents. Because of the size and location, it is also called an island continent. It's also called an island continent. This continent is surrounded by Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So Australia is surrounded by Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. And Pacific Ocean. Australia is one of the least populated continents and is rich in biodiversity. So, Australia is supposed to be the least populated, one of the least populated, and it is rich in biodiversity. Rich in biodiversity. Let's look at. We are talking about the world. There are 7 continents and 5 oceans in the world. First, we are looking at the first 4 continents. The first one is Asia. It's the largest and the most populated continent. It has 4.3 billion people, and it also has the highest mountain, Mount Everest. Africa is the second largest and is the second highest population too. It is also called the Black Continent. 1 billion people live over here. It's also called the birthplace of humankind because fossils and skeletons and skulls have been found, so it's called the cradle of humankind. It has the longest river, River Nile, and the largest desert, the Sahara Desert. Next, we are looking at the Antarctica. The southernmost continent is Antarctica. It's least populated continent. It has got very few plants and animal species. It's the coldest continent and permanent glaciers are there. 98% is covered with ice most of the time, and it's the windiest continent. Australia. It's a single country continent. It's the 6th largest and the smallest continent, and it's an island continent. It's covered, surrounded by Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. Australia is the least populated and it is rich in biodiversity.